overly compliant. Yeah. So we submitted everything to everyone who cared to get access to our survey. And, we're using trend here in a loose sense, not in the statistic sense. We have to take a long view. But over the period of January to March, we saw some interesting changes, pre-elections, changes in the direction of certain candidates. When you look at, on the whole, if we look at the tickets, the March survey shows that Alianza, the administration's slate, is going to dominate. If elections were held in March, they will dominate the top 12.
Surprise,
No surprise. Yeah. So at least there's one element of changelessness, no? But 8 are likely to win, no? Second thing that you will notice that for 2 successive surveys, Bongo has solidified his position as one of the top, if not the top candidate for this particular midterm elections. It's 2 surveys for Okta where he's number 1. Third image, of course, is there's actually a sympathy search. I'm using the medical term. There's actually a medical term called sympathy search.
Yeah.
It's
psychology.
No, not psychology. It's a medical term for the brain, a damage in the brain. No? Anyway, I don't mean it that way. No, I mean it here.
We can edit that out.
Yeah. No. I mean it here. I mean it here. To refer to that sympathy.
Shock.
But a surge in support for politicians aligned with former President Duterte.
Because of the damage to the brain.
Okay, well, possibly, putting that together.
Good.
So there's a surge where we were kind of surprised. We were seeing it in January, and in one of our own, I think Ronald was also there in one of those discussions we had on political preference. We saw a bump in January for pro-Duterte support. It's a nominal bump of less than 4%. We're now seeing the full fruition of that surge of support in March, where you see double-digit increases for almost all.
Bump na ganyan.
I don't think it's a bump. If you look at Jimmy Bondok's numbers, it's a massive increase. You look at Vic Rodriguez.
Philip Salvador is
and
like
of course, the big story is
actually
Philip Salvador.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, it's still in terms of a matchup, it's still dominated by Alianza candidates. And we see that for the Duterte side, maybe most likely it will be Bongo, possibly Bato de la Rosa, who in our surveys are a bit uncertain. In ours, it's going up and down. But for others, I think he's steady in top 5. So that's what we're seeing. And then a couple of independents are coming in. Possibly,
of
course, Ben Tulfo is in, but Willie Revillame is right there competitive. And of course, one of the big stories is, of course, the continuing decline in the numbers of Amy Marcos. We have to understand that she started at 44% in Okta, and now she's down to less than 30%. I think 27%. And while it's too early to cross her out, to rule her out, she's still statistically within the winning
with 7 other people?
Yeah, with 6 other people. So 11, 12, it's going to be a dogfight, it seems.
Yeah.
But we don't know it. It's dynamic. These things are changing. We saw in less than a month a change in perception, Lana, with regards to candidates aligned with President Duterte's slate. So, a massive increase.
I'll discuss Amy more, but Pacquiao is also not doing well in the survey. Is it because wala lang siya sa usapan?
I don't know. I
really... But his number from January, he was like down. Almost 50%.
Yeah, parang medyo absent siya sa kampanya.
Like
you don't see him much.
Exactly. Yeah. What's going on?
In terms of
but Ronald will have a better view. What do you think? Can Pacquiao recover? I think Pacquiao can recover.
Can he punch next?
Oo nga.
He can recover dahil 100% naman siya sa name record.
Yeah.
So vote conversion ang kailangan niya.
Yeah.
Ang problema lang ay parang absent siya. Mas yun ang problema.
Naka-complacent nga, no?
Oo. Tapos ikalawa ay katlo, ay makakadagdag sa kanya yung machinery ng gobyerno.
Yes.
Yun yung, sa dulo kasi it's about machinery.
Yes.
Pero meron ka pang 1 month. Pero 2/3 na yung tapos .
Yeah.
sa kampanya nila. So it's practically the last third ng kampanya nila. Ang tanong ko lang kay Prof ay, pwede ka bang magkaroon ng ganung talon in just one survey cycle? Medyo mabilis yung talon eh.
Sobra.
Usually kasi, okay yung talon, pero siguro 5%, diba? Mga ganyan. Ito, may mga tumalo ng 15% eh. So, I haven't seen that in previous surveys.
And by the way, while I won't talk about the other survey company, they're also validating the same thing we're seeing. There's a surge, and that's significant. It's something that we can't just put aside. But the picture looks the same. There's solid 8 Alianza bets are going to win, most likely. They're consolidating, and as Ronald Sec properly pointed out, that machinery is going to kick in. Whether we accept it or not, it exists, and those resources are real. And we have to take into account that about 100 congressmen have practically no opponent. Unopposed in their districts, no? And then you add those where there's a very light, the opponents are not very strong. You have a whole network of machinery that's just really there for the administration to utilize to push for their own candidates. Now, of course, that remains to be seen. But as Ronald has a longer view, talaga bang pagdumiin ng administrasyon kaya, no? Kaya talaga.
Yes, pero at most yan, 15% additional, at least mga 5%.
Yeah.
So, combination of a lot of things dyan. Resources, networks, lalo na sa mga LGUs, tapos mga government institutions na directly ay hindi tumutulong.
Sir Ronald, may mga libel case tayo.
Indirectly.
I like the pause.
Pwedeng maka-influensya. Tapos, syempre, sample ballots.
Sample ballots. So what Sec is trying to say, being somebody who's done this as a secretary under the Aquino administration, been there, done that. 5% is really big for those in 10, 11, and 12. That's going to be huge, no? Lana for the administration. I don't know if it's good politics for the president. I'm going to post this pala. This is a referendum on him, no? And whether we accept it or not, the people he chose to be in his state are going to win. A lot of them are really going to win
not because they're
Alianza.
Because talagang kilala
sila. So
reliability is an
but
issue.
Then the next second question is what was gained here? He's probably going to lose. His sister's probably going to lose her Senate post. Isn't that a slap on the face of the administration? That,
Is it? Or is it a slap on the
political calculation?
It is a slap on the face of the administration dahil kaka-surge yung opposition. Even yung pink opposition.
Let's not forget
that. Sila. So yun yung problema. It's a reflection on the failure of government. At kung titignan mo rin yung mga approval rating, medyo bumababa rin si BBM. So, bibilangin mo lahat ito, they have to do something dramatic. No? Alam mo, what are they going to do with self-rated poverty? What are they going to do with 28% involuntary starvation? No, what are they going to do? Diba na bumaba daw ang inflation by 1.9%. Pero ang pakiramdam ng tao, mataas ang kuryente at mataas ang
bigas pa rin,
mataas ang pagkain, mataas ang gamot. So, itong mga nangyayari nito ay probably may mahaba pang gestation period para maramdaman ng mga tao. Pero definitely sa balance sheet ay natapalo yung gobyerno. So they have to do something dramatic. Halimbawa, perhaps have a cabinet revamp to show that they mean business. Na yung mga problema ng agriculture, yung problema ng...
So wait, so you already had DTI gone, you already had the OTR gone, you want DA also gone? Is that what you're saying?
DA is about food. And DA is negative. It's dragging down the economy. No? So, ano yung nangyayari sa labor? There's nothing going on in labor. No, for the past years.
Di ba yung tatlong distribution ng AKAP, yun ang sagot, diba?
Isa pa yun, yung budget. It's still taking a stall. Dahil yung pa rin nasa consciousness ng tao. May nangyari dito. So they have to do something dramatic.
Isn't the AKAP gonna actually help them once people
I think it is.
Second or third. Yes and no. Because in terms of propaganda, ay
Hindi maganda.
negative ang
Oo.
akap. In terms of machinery, sa dulo,
It
may
helps.
positive siya. So, ano yan? Tatabla?
Net-
Or
yeah.
lalabas?
Parang feeling ko mag-net sec. Kasi sa aming survey, lumalabas.
Yun nga, that's what I
6
wanna-
out of 10 Filipinos support AKAP. They think it's beneficial. And in fact, close to 7 out of 10 we want it expanded pa.
Yes,
And
pero...
then nag-distribute sila ngayon. Baka di ba kaya makatulong yon?
Yeah, pero Prof, ito kasing
Cycle.
surge na ito,
Yeah.
ibig sabihin ay hindi ganun kalaki yung epekto ng akap.
Tama. Hindi matatapatan eh.
Itong surge na ito, dapat kahit papano, natatapatan nila yon kahit papano, di ba? Yung mga surveys na lumalabas, at least 2 surveys na lumabas, ay parang walang epekto yung akap.
Yeah.
No?
I don't think any event will approximate the incarceration of a deity like President
This is
Duterte.
unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Yeah. This is a wild territory.
Yes, but it's a battle of narrative.
Yes.
Ang problema, yung narrative ng mga biktima hindi naririnig. Ang
Yes.
naririnig ay yung narrative ng nakapa si Digong,
Tama.
27 medicines yung iniinom araw-araw, tapos he was na-violate yung kanyang human rights, na-violate yung kanyang due process. So yun yung dominant eh.
Yeah.
Ibig sabihin, in that propaganda
Province of
war,
fake daw tayo.
They're
Province
making
of
points,
fake.
yeah.
in the propaganda war, natatalo yung gobyerno. So, kinakailangan mag-scale up yung gobyerno o ayusin yung narrative. No? Dahil NGO, civil society can do only so much.
Yeah.
Yung gobyerno talagang aasahan na
To drive the
mag-create
narrative,
ng
Okay,
isang
let's talk about that. Speaking of the narrative, the way I see it is parang organic, spontaneous yung narrative nila nag-develop because of the hearings, right?
Yeah.
Like Remulla admitting the justice system failed. I think that was because they were berated by IME in the Senate. The
But there's a
brought-
context,
right. Please,
Richard, the justice system failed during that time. That we were very clear, diba?
During
The
the time of Duterte.
framing was that there was nothing anyone could do because nobody could file a case.
Yeah.
Locally.
Dinodoktor sa baba pa lang.
So, but I want to tease out from Seke yung magandang point niya about narratives. And it doesn't have to be propaganda for the administration. It can be actually a serious discussion of what is
principled communication strategy.
of something as legitimate as the victims.
Yeah.
Diba? There are real victims. It did really happen. And that the goal moving forward is to not let it happen again. And that's talking about reforms, talking about maybe compensation for those who are truly victimized,
Truth Commission,
unjustly victimized by this, and maybe even rejoining the ICC. So maybe, you're right,
Pero,
sir, yung narrative.
Yeah, some issues for the narrative are slow burn.
Yeah.
Ang kailangan ngayon is quick burn.
Yeah.
No, ano ba yung peg sa narrative at
Time
saka
frames,
na mabilisan magkakaroon ng impact?
The
Dahil
idea kasi-
1 month na lang eh.
Anong tingin mo? Anong kailangan nilang focus? Kasi maganda
Or
yung point
how
ko
do
na-
you separate the more long-term and the gestation versus the high
Kasi
impact?
if I was going to, and this is not because I'm Okta na anymore.
This is your political science hat,
Na maganda pag-usapan rin yung sinimulan ng presidente. Nung sinimula yung kampanya, yung us versus them, yung comparison na yun na hindi naman
walang
na-articulate
correct.
ng
You mean the Lawag speech?
Dalawang speech was, I think,
that was the best moment.
the framing
Ang
Yeah.
problema, walang sumakay na senatorial candidate niya.
Kasi dahil nga,
Kasi walang credibility.
hindi, I think they just don't want to alienate anyone.
Playing safe.
Playing safe. And in this kind of context, that might actually work. That's the Senator Marcos' position, not to alienate any group.
Is it that, or is it she's actively trying to court the other side and she end up losing
Oh,
both
now,
sides?
yes, it's that now.
Kasi-
But initially, it was to be at the center of things, right?
Yeah.
Not to discuss. And in fact, that position is what Senator Kiko and former Senator Kiko and Senator Bam are doing now, focusing on their core issues.
Got issues.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big stories of the Okta survey. They're actually surging. We never...
Ang kaibahan lang,
Oh.
ibig sabihin, kahit may nagsa-search, masyado masikip eh.
Oh,
Meron
diba?
kang most probably 8 administration,
Yeah.
2 independent, and possibly dalawang administration.
Pinaglalaban mo mga isa
Dalawang Duterte side. Dalawang Duterte side. Bongo and Bato.
Bato and Bongo. Tapos meron kang Ben Tulfo and Willie Revillame. Tapos meron kang Balon na strong admin.
Yes.
So, parang numinipis na eh. Anong sabi ni Prof? Yung tightening. Nagko-constrict na yung labanan, no? Kaya,
so how can they stand out?
Even if there's a surge, no?
Yeah, exactly. So how can they break that that kind of parang deadlock, kumbaga, di ba? Are they the same?
Divine intervention.
Well, aside from your spiritual Padre Leamaso, no, honestly, some would say that Bam and Kiko are not necessarily doing the same thing. That maybe Kiko actually is much clearer in terms of the issue of Sara impeachment or the ICC issue, while BAM seems to be much more inclusive.
Yeah, but the data is showing the data is showing the bump is experienced by BAM
rather than
Kiko. He's steady. The numbers are steady.
About 4%.
Yeah. That from January to now, about 6% sa Octa.
Kiko.
No, not Kiko, but his own numbers from January to today.
From the previous survey ng Octa, 4.
Yeah.
So his strategy is more vindicated. Except there's one possibility. What if Kiko is the secret candidate who will have that 5 to 10% bump should the day come? Then that will cancel out whatever.
What's this talk about secret candidate? Why don't you enlighten me?
But isn't historically that the case that in the Senate race, Sir Ronald, that there's a formal slate?
12 yung candidate ng administration, nabawasan ng isa.
Yes.
Si Aimee.
Yes.
So, meron ba silang ipapalit doon?
Yes.
Sa number 12.
Hindi ba si Ben Tulfo?
No? Well, pwede nilang kunin si Willie Revillame, pwede kunin si Kiko Orbang. Hindi naman sila kukuha sa mga Duterte.
Definitely.
So, kukuha sila either sa independent. Halimbawa, si Willie Revillame kasi dinadala ni Cheese. No? Pwede rin one of the pinks, Kiko Orbang, mahirapan kung dalawa. So, yan ngayon yung mga nego. Yan ngayon yung mga
doon sa pink movement, doon sa pink sa side na yun, no? Sa Liberal Party and their own movement.
Well, BAM is going independent.
Yeah, I know it's independent.
No? BAM is saying basically.
Yeah, but you know, is there some resurgence of? Ano bang balita sa inyo? Are they going to organize? Are they organizing? Is everybody in that network?
Well, they can only organize so much dahil hindi naman kasi partido yung pink. Sa movement, no? So,
na medyo spontaneous masyado.
Baka too late naman to create a new brand dahil 1 month na lang yung natitira. No? So, malaking bahagi na are negotiations. No? Negotiations with influence groups, local politicians, religious groups, like Iglesia ni Cristo, etc. No? So, tingin ko, yan naman yung ginagawa nila early pa in the campaign. Pero ngayon kasi, dahil nagta-tighten na, tapos halos nawawala na yung 1 to 2 possible na
opening.
Na pinagtatalunan, no? Nagsasara na nga. Baka pati nga yung isa, nawawala na. No?
Sana kung may dalawa pa, kaya pa eh. Pero isa na lang ang pinaglalabanan na pwesto eh.
What about tactical voting? Yung idea na, kunyari, ikaw ay supporter ng genuine opposition. You want enough. Kasi ang usapan dito impeachment ni Sara di ba? The idea is, Kiko and BAM, of course, you want both of them in. But you also don't want some of the independent ones na within the range na pwede pa rin talunin na mukhang mas on the other side. So you can help some of the alyansa na mas sigurado ka who could vote against Sara.
Siguro yun yung difference ng mga ibang survey. Halimbawa, sa survey ng Octa ay mga number 9 si Bato. Sa survey ng isa, number 2.
3.
No? 2 to 3. So medyo malaking difference yun. No? Sa survey ng Octa, si Bato ay pwede pang talunin. Sa survey ng iba ay baka mahirapan na. So, yan yung...
for instance, Pacquiao, sa survey nyo, may chance pa. And I would be surprised that maybe Pacquiao will be on the right side of history.
Dahil si Pacquiao kasi, number 12.
Should you help Pacquiao if you're also supporter of BAM?
Tapos kung mag-scale up siya, tapos with the admin machinery, may chance siya kumpara dun sa mga nasa labas ng 12 na hindi admin. No? Yun ang sinasabi ko. Kumpara dun sa mga nasa labas ng 12 na hindi admin, mas may chance yung nasa dulo na 12 na admin. No? Going into the home stretch. Pero bagong phenomena kasi yung ganitong klaseng search.
Medyo incredible.
Kaya nga ang tanong ko kay Prof, Nangyayari ba yan in the past? Ang alam ko kasi hindi eh. Meron kang surge ng mga 5% sa compared to sa previous survey cycle.
Yeah.
Ito kasi nag-surge ka ng 15%.
Yeah.
No?
More than that for some.
In one survey cycle.
Yeah, except these are people with very low base.
Yeah.
And there's a ceiling, right? It looks like there's a ceiling too.
Pero
but this is our second survey observing this rise. So will it continue in April? This is something that we don't have data yet.
Ako kasi, again, this is speculative, but my sense is...
Lahat naman dito speculative.
No. But there is the good speculative, there's a bad, and there's a ugly speculative. Hindi naman ito yung mga malapolvoron level na speculative.
Hindi yan speculative.
Is it fake, yeah. No, but going back to this, ako kasi my sense is like, if your Jimo Bondok who were like 4 or 5%, going let's say even up to 20-25%, makes perfect sense. You know why? Because 20% of the people are aligned to Duterte.
Yeah, that's
so,
and then, survey, yeah.
So I won't be surprised if more or less that's it, right? And we can see that, like Philip Salvador also is a dark horse, but he's not going way beyond that 20%-ish na solid idea. So I see here more consolidation of all Duterte-aligned candidates rather than a kind of an absolute jump, including the ceiling shifting. I don't know. That's one way of reading it for me.
Another way of reading it is to accept the fact that there's a surge. There was an extraordinary circumstance or context that sparked the surge. But by accepting that, all the other forces can recalibrate. I think that's a rational thing, no? To accept that it happened and to see what you can do to curtail the surge. And I think because...
So you're saying accept that this surge is not like forever. It's not permanent. It could be temporary.
May dalawang variable tayo na pinag-uusapan eh. Yung isa ay yung senatorial election.
Yeah.
Most probably, itong surge na ito, sinasabi ni Prof, ay yes, may surge, pero hindi inaasahan na magkakaroon ko rin ng 15% jump in the next survey before the elections.
Yeah.
No?
Yun yung ceiling na sinasabi ko.
Baka may limit yan. No? Hindi ko alam kung ano yung science dyan. So, isa yon. But even kung hindi manalo, which is more probable, hindi manalo yung karamihan ng kandidato ng Duterte opposition, which is practically 10. Kahit may surge sila at hindi sila makakanalo, yun yung second variable. This is a referendum on the government, on the president. The very fact na sila ay nag 15-20% is a reflection na yung Duterte opposition ay kahit hindi manalo, meron silang fuel to burn.
Yes.
At yung gobyerno ay medyo bumabagsak in terms of approval rating. Kahit hindi sila manalo ngayon, so going into 2028, delikado yon. No, kung sino man yung kandidato ng administrasyon, ng dispensation, present dispensation, going into 2028, no, medyo may kaunti silang problema, no? Hindi pala, malaking problema.
Malaking problema. So let's talk about that. You guys have done a lot of surveys of matchups. Hindi lang Rafi versus Sara, but last time I checked, you have ideas of possible matchups to the degree that you can share, because I know that everything is not public consumption. Prof. Ranjit, what are we looking at in terms of 2028? Because the window here is not the next month, the window here is the next 3 years or so.
Yeah, well, I can't talk about details, but
to the degree that you can share,
So, as of December last year, I think Rafi Tulfo was leading in our matchup, a one-on-one matchup. By the way, same as... But since Feb, numbers are beginning to slip.
Because?
Because there's a surge of support.
But is it also because Rafi is so quiet?
Well, it's possible. It's also it's a confluence of all of those things, definitely. But she's on top right now. The VP Duterte is on top as far as our backing is concerned. But of course, to those watching our show, this is of course premature. 2020 is a long time. But she has momentum. The Duterte camp has some momentum. I agree with Ronald that has a limit, especially when the empire strikes back, when the administration starts rolling in its resources, rolling out its resources, I should say, and its networks of support. I think that to some extent that will find a ceiling. And what according to SEC, it's 5 to 10%. That's huge. We don't have data to
but that's
validate
historical.
Yeah, but that's
trend line,
historical. Yeah, so that's big. That has an impact on 9, 10, 11, 12. Honestly.
Yung factor ni Tulfo, malaking factor kasi yung hindi ka nagpapakilala as a presidential candidate.
Yes.
Si Sara kasi nagpakilala na, tatakbo ko. Di kwan yun, value added sa kanya yun. Tingin ko si Raffy Tulfo is calculating na magpapakilala siya after the midterm elections. No? Doon siya magpapakilala.
Para hindi mo premature ambitious.
Kaya pwedeng magbago yun. Pwedeng magbago yan. Dahil malaking factor kasi yung interesado kang tumakbo. Kung hindi ka interesado, ba't ka iboboto ng mga tao? Diba? Bakit ka tataas sa survey? Hindi ka naman interesado. So yun, tingin ko doon sa...
So in short, okay.
Let me contribute to this.
Okay, please,
tama si Isek eh. Hindi nagpapakilala, ayaw magpakilala dahil ayaw maging magnet no, ng criticism.
It doesn't look like taking advantage of this for his own personal
but think
purposes.
about it. When you look at our last surveys, ang differential lang naman is 4 or 5 points. Can you imagine, hindi pa siya nagpapakilala, tapos 4 or 5 points na yung ano. Then distant third would be Lenny Robredo. Double digits naman, pero distant third. So, yun yung yung nakikita namin sa, yung mga pangalan na lumulutang. Then, of course, there's Amy Marcos, there's Lisa Ontiveros.
Robin Padilla.
No, not sa presidential. Sa vice
president.
I
mean for tandem.
Yeah, for sa tandem, mukhang sa ulo, malakas pa rin si Maduro.
So, if Sara gets, for some reason, impeached, isn't Robin Hood the natural next one to run on their side?
Yes, but not necessarily a frontliner.
Yes, yeah.
Paano iba kasi? Iba yung, karamihan naman sa nag-top sa Senate, hindi naman nag-prosper as a presidential candidate.
But they tried, at least.
Yeah. At ikalawa, medyo malaki na kasi nakilala rin kay Robin Hood Padilla since naging senador siya.
In terms of kakulangan.
So, ibig sabihin, the bubble burst. The bubble burst.
Yan ang problema niya. And 3 more years pa for that bubble to further.
Meron kasi mga iba na they're always winnable as senators.
Yeah.
But never for a higher position.
Yeah.
Diba si Lorna, si
Lauren Lagarda.
Lauren Lagarda, no? Lagi siyang mataas, nasa top 1, top 2 sa Senate, pero never siya nag-prosper beyond the Senate. No? Yun yung isang halimbawa.
May mga brand,
maraming ganun.
Brand, yeah. But the names like Jesus Cordero, they're also in the list.
Yeah, they're in the
list. And then you won't believe, no? People like Mayor Magalong suddenly but very low. But
I will believe we've been discussing.
So it's premature to talk about 2020 really. But
except to say how can you say premature when Sara already throw her hat into the ring, and her being number 1 in service to be the next president will obviously affect how senators
so much
will
dynamic.
decide.
I'm saying it in the sense that there's so much dynamic. No?
Sure.
Yeah. But that statement aside, there are 2 dominant candidates. It seems like consistently over the last 6 months we're tracking, it's really Sara Duterte and Raffy Tulfo.
And Lenny not running or running will favor Raffy more or not?
Yeah, I think it will favor Raffy more.
If she doesn't run.
If she doesn't run.
So there'll be a consolidation.
Kung sakaling ma-impeach si Sara at hindi siya mag-resign,
ibang usapan yan.
Kung sakaling ma-convict siya sa isang criminal case like plunder, etc., kung hindi na siya vice president, then that will level the playing field.
Yes.
No?
They open
Kung siya ay magsusurvive sa impeachment at saka criminal cases, then most probably the battle royale will be a Tulfo and a Sara.
It's possible.
Actually, the more battle royale, who will be the VP of Tulfo? Because I'm sure yun ang mas battle royale.
Maraming pwedeng kombinasyon.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you have Tulfo Grace po, Tulfo Rizal, Tulfo...
Ang problema,
Speaker Romualdez, ha?
Exactly.
Ang problema, if you're Sara, tatakbo ka for president, ba't ka kukuha ng vice president na hindi naman value added sa'yo? Usually, kukuha ka ng vice president na hindi sa'yo. Para makadagdag. Halimbawa, kung ikaw tika Mindanao, kuha ka ng tika Luzon, kung babae ka, kuha ka ng lalaki. Kung ikaw ay PDP labang, kuha ka sa ibang partido.
Senator Robin Padilla, wala mong value added. Di ba naman value added natin?
Well, I doubt it. Dahil, parehas sila ng constituency.
Tama.
Actually, parang sumakay lang siya.
Halimbawa, kung tatakbo si Raffy Tulfo, kukuha siya ng hindi niya ka-constituency para madagdag sa kanya yun. No? Yun yung logic.
Or maraming resources.
Yun yung logic.
Or maraming resources.
okay, I'll reveal something also.
Sige,
6 months, without going to details.
Yeah.
The strongest tandem for VP Sara Duterte, if she's able to escape all of this,
is Amy.
Marcos. Yeah. There's no tandem, including that of Tulfo or whoever he chooses.
But if she loses the Senate, she will not look like a viable.
If she is destroyed, halimbawa, hindi na siya matalo. Yung pagkatalo niya ay grabe.
She will not be considered.
Baka hindi na siya politically viable.
But you guys still didn't answer the question. I mean, first of all, let me say before I forget, I think Rafi has a good situation in the sense that now he can be tactically quiet but he can go all in later on and more than make up for that. So okay pa siya. I think he's still in the goods.
And makakaroon siya ng dalawang kapatid kasi.
Medyo mag-amplifier.
Can run as vice president.
Oh my God. Although embarrassment of riches sometimes may not in your favor, right?
That has never happened before.
Yeah. But you still guys haven't answered me. If Sara is disqualified for any reason, impeach, whatever, kasi there's even one scenario, even if mag-resign siya, pwede pa rin siya ma-disqualify because she can still be held. But the point is,
mag-resign siya, pwede siyang kasuhan ng criminal case.
That's what I'm saying. So
hindi siya tatantanan, Sek?
Mukhang yun ang sasabihin ng Congress, hindi siya tatantanan. They will really disqualify her.
I have to be the
preemptive resignation.
I have to be the person of objectivity in this conversation because I'm a member of the civil service now.
Nga pala.
Did you just read the memo?
Hindi mo ba napansin?
Did you get the memo?
I have.
Hindi mo ba napansin na objective din kami?
Objective. Lalo ako. Andito na nga ako with Boxer. No, but this is the last one I want to ask. Like, okay, if Sara is disqualified, who will run for them? Bongo, Robin Hood, Baste?
Don't count Bongo out if he's number one here.
That's what I'm saying.
He makes some strong argument for
and
that
don't
side.
count out Bongo's dynamics with Sara.
Yeah.
They're not on the same page.
Duda ako kung magsasama sila.
Yeah.
Duda ako. Yeah, exactly.
Ikalawa, kahit mag-top si Bongo sa Senate,
hindi sigurado.
Ibang usapin yung nag-top at yung tatakbo for president.
Yeah.
Dahil napakalaki ng charisma ni Bongo. Imagine mo siya.
Hindi ka convinced sa sinabi mo.
Parang hindi ka convinced.
Biglang nag-pause ka.
Hindi mo napansin na sarcastic ako.
It's so thick. But
Pero number one pa siya.
Number one pa siya. Boss, malaking bagay.
Hindi siya mag-number one sa last
vice president. Pwede siguro.
Well, depende kung sino yung presidente niya. Dahil I doubt kung magsasama sila ni Sara, president.
Yun nga, diba? Yun yung problema nila. Without Sara, what are their options? Bongo, Baste, Robin Hood? Parang, di ba? Biglang, like, it's so dependent on Sara eh.
Yeah, but here's the point, and Sec has rightly pointed this out. If this administration continues to underperform, be suboptimal, no matter what happens, that will be an argument for their side. And I think that's their major perspective now. Just leave the administration do exactly what it's doing, and we'll take over in 2028. Whether
so basically
there can't be any. But if the SEC argue, if there's a U-turn, diba? The administration continues to focus on the ball, good governance, sustainable, equitable development, a real U-turn, baka the moderate candidates have a space.
Basically, the government has all the cards, right? And yet, what is missing, Sir Ronald? The government has all the cards. I mean, the way I look at it, if you were to...
Is that a question?
It is a demand. It's a request for unsolicited advice.
No comment on my side.
Sir.
Parang yung tinatanong mo, ano ba yung sagot eh?
Bakit sir? Parang
And if
nag-hedge ka na ngayon.
Richard, if you know the answer, alam mo, that will be it, diba?
I am totally clueless. I'm an innocent mind.
Actually, kaya mo naman sagutin.
I think people understand the purpose of this show is you will say what I don't want to say myself. So thank you so much. I think this triple R thing has a future. Thank you so much, guys. Talagang the good, the bad, and the amazing, the most amazing host. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this latest episode of FYI, hindi lang voter education, pampapamilya pa. Pabuhayan showcase. Triple R. The good, the bad, and the most amazing.
Parang a few times na hindi natin pinag-usapan si Asylum Seeker.
Ayan. And by the way, for the very first time, wala tayong Harry Roque Special Edition. So that will be our next episode. Where in the world is Harry? Alright, thank you so much. Maraming salamat.